And so the idea is that I'm going to have to wait. We're one person away from a quorum, so
Yeah.
I'm waiting anyhow, hoping somebody's going to join, but we'll see what happens. But that is one of the keys here, is that is getting the a lot of the folks in town to realize, everybody talks about wanting to put AC in, and the benefit of doing this with the mini splits is you can use it for heat, which is in the bridge months, like the spring and the fall. It's a lot cheaper than trying to use a furnace and burn fossil fuels, because you're heating just the one building. I'm sorry, the one room, or you're heating the room versus heating the entire building, type of thing. And that was something that we had to really struggle to get the school committee the school board to understand. I should say the school administration to understand.
Yep.
Which was frustrating, because they wanted to add AC, but they weren't looking at it as a heat source as well. And using it as a heat source enabled it to get free money.
Yeah, it's a hard kind of mind adjustment to the one size fits all approach. You can't have one type of heating or cooling that is the best option all year round, right? If we're going to go for efficiency, it's going to be in these months, this kind is going to be the most efficient. In these months, this is going to be the most efficient, because there isn't one size fit all. Like you just said, the couple of months during the shoulder seasons, those are the best. Maybe once it gets super cold and you're trying to heat everything, another kind's the best. And it's a concept hard for me too. Because I have pellet stove, I have oil. I would love to have mini splits though for air conditioning at some point. And then I will probably learn about the heating with the mini splits will also be nice too when it's the right time. So
yeah, I mean, I when I got the mini split, it's the Mitsubishi mini split. It was the latest and greatest thing, and for a long time it was. I thought it fell into that category of one of the best things I ever bought. It wore off a little bit as time went on, but as an air conditioner, it was unmatched. It was great, and because particularly in a small house, I was able to get away with one head unit. But it was I felt a little disappointed, or a lot disappointed, on the heating end. Because it was billed as being an incredible money saver as far as heating goes. But as the temperature went down, it got louder, and our electric bill jumped. And I just anecdotally hear people who did blindly go in and switch completely over, that they're just crippled by their electric bill. And it is anecdotal, but I do hear it in various places. So so that's the only concern I have as it goes with the taxpayer money, is if there's a push to, say, completely electrify Turkey Hill or any other building. That's fine. That's a great choice to provide the voters. But I do think there should also be the traditional, whether it's fossil fuels comparison, if we stayed with I would assume natural gas, what it would cost compared to that. And if they choose to go with the more expensive option, then that's fantastic, as long as they have an informed decision.
And the funny one is actually the state is pushing for geothermal.
Right.
And so they talked about one school, about the size of the middle high school, doing it. They drilled 58 wells. So which well is like an in and an out for a well, but that 58 of them underneath, and with pipes going underneath the parking lot and things like that. And I'm like, how is that going to be? What is the ROI in that? And it didn't make any sense to me at all. But I could just see us for a 58 400-foot wells in Lunenburg, So
right. And we have those, I don't know if anyone's figured out yet, those solar panels, because those credits are going somewhere. So I'm sure that's an opportunity for using that power to fund the building's electricity as well, so that the taxes don't go up as much.
Right. And that's another one, Glenn. If it, like the panels on Turkey Hill, we've kind of lost control of, because the company that actually installed them and was doing it went out of business, and there is somebody managing it, but we don't have access to see right now the records of what's work, what we might have saved, or if they're really as efficient as they said, and things like that, which is really unfortunate. But
Yeah.
we're trying to come to where that's one of the big things we're working on, is getting, everybody on board to understand you have these resources. You got to use your resources first before you start asking for something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And that's really also one of the unfortunate realities, is that the solar business or industry, I should say, is, I'd almost throw them in the category of predatory, and that
Oh, yes.
they're so
Yeah.
aggressive. We've put up a sign. They're like, really, it's all I can say is that predatory, and that gives me pause as to the viability of anything that someone is coming to my house and actively pushing. Just gives me a bad taste, and they're rude. I mean, they're
just-
rude.
I understand well. Oh, yeah. And it was funny because I did mine about at least 4 years ago now, and it was a different world. And and little things like, I'm sure you have the same feeling, but the guy's talking to me about 3 different panels I can do. He's telling me the numbers, and I'm like, look, just let me see a computer so I can get my own ROI. Because the big thing he couldn't ever, I didn't lease the panels, I bought the panels. I think the whole leasing the panels doesn't really pay off that well. But
Yeah.
when you can buy the panels, and that's when they really, they don't like it when you want to buy the panels. They definitely want you to lease the panels from them, type of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's too bad because the ones that do go door to door, like it's one way, and yeah, nobody wants to talk to them. But then there are these other companies that are okay, that don't go door to door, but no one knows about them.
Right. Oh, for
Um,
sure. Like, to your point, I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. In
yeah,
fact,
there's
that's,
a couple
yeah.
good ones, but
Right,
yeah, the popular ones are not.
right. I
preferred.
ended up using a company called Boston Solar. And at the time, it's because they were the only ones that physically came and looked at the house, to say to you,
Mhm.
oh, yes, your roof can handle this.
Yeah.
The rafter, your roof rafters can handle the extra weight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that's a reoccurring theme, unfortunately, too, is the businesses going, out of business, and that's an unfortunate
Yes.
aspect
Yeah,
of the
my
whole.
panels have been taken over by a different company since they were put on, and they were only put on like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
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 Yep. But now they're
Um,
pushing like, oh, we can put these on. We'll give you a free new roof. So they're catching on to what people want.
Mm.
I mean, they're probably charging them for it because it's not like going into it being like, oh yeah, what's the price? And then they're like, oh, we'll do the new roof, and now it's this price. They're going into it with like the expectation that they're going to have that overhead. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. I haven't looked at like the numbers, but they have to make money somehow. And that's kind of the only way that they'll probably make the money, is if they go into it as an approach of they're already planning to spend that anyways.
right. So,
Yeah.
so Glenn, actually, that is a good point. Have we I don't recall, but have we updated the bylaws for the ground mount system? Because, that's one of the issues we have now is the panels have since we've done that, where we said up to like a 10,000 kilowatt system was as right.
I don't know.
I know, but the efficiencies have gone up so much that, it's not optimized, the same size system that you would have had to do 10,000 when we first did it is now a 12 to 14,000 kilowatt system in that same footprint. So it'd be interesting because that's to some people, that's the difference of whether they can do 60% of their home or 100% of their home is that little bylaw. I agree with you. I mean, I guess it's something we need to look into a little bit.
And it's part of those complexities too that just make it scary for the town to get involved with. I mean, Turkey Hill being a perfect example of where they're out of warranty, the company's out of business, and it's hard to document exactly where everything is. So it's so complex that a town getting involved with it, and it's really got to be a win, a clear win.
Understand. All right. So, that's the other side. I mean, we definitely would like to, our big push is just trying to make sure that the different entities in town at least look to us to see whether we can get them free money before they ask for money. That's the biggest struggle we've had right now, more than anything else. We get involved where, I'll get where we hear about it through the grapevine that we hear that there's going to be a ballot at town meeting to look for funds, and we're like, guys, we could have gotten you free money for that. And that's the biggest frustration we have as the Green Group. So we've really been pushing the new town manager and the select board to make sure that, like the schools or the town facilities and other folks like that come to us to see if there's money available by just tweaking the system that they're looking at a little bit. And we still have, we're struggling we're going to be struggling to find projects for the next spring round, which is when we want to be able to try again after the mini splits. All right, so Kim, looks like I don't have a quorum tonight.
Very sad.
I know.
Yeah.
Glenn, I wish I can call you part of our quorum, because then,
no, I'm glad you can't.
Yeah.
Why? You're only, how many boards are you on?
Right.
What's one more?
Yeah, exactly.
As Kim and I both know, right?
Yeah. They just keep coming.
Yeah. So I'll sit, but I'm gonna give you your evening back, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
Okay, all right. Good. Hey, appreciate you joining us and just having the conversation.
Yep.
Always great.
thank you.
Always great to hear from folks. And if you guys ever run into things, just chat with us, and we're here to help.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Have a good
All right.
night.
Thanks.
Good
Have
night.
a great evening. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.